point, and the community sentiment on the state of the game seems to flip-flop an awful lot between patches. I've seen a lot of players say the game is dying, dead, or underperforming, so I want to discuss this today and just give my overall thoughts on where the game is headed and its post-launch support. This game's initial success came as a huge shock to both Saber and Games Workshop. Space Marine 2 sold over 2 million copies in its first 24 hours and around 4.5 million by the end of the first month, and more recently the game has hit 12 million total unique players. So to say that this game was a major success compared to Focus Entertainment's initial projections would be an understatement, directly coming out to say that Space Marine 2 sales surpassed their wildest dreams, and this on top of Games Workshop's pressure is likely why Space Marine 3 was announced half a year after this game came out originally. This brings me to the post-launch support for the game. Even prior to the massive launch success, Space Marine 2 always had plans for post-launch support, with a year one plan available right off the bat. This gave us new operations, new enemies, and weapons, though I will say that a huge portion of year one update plans really felt like it was mostly fixing issues from launch. Saber has also been pretty adamant that this game is not a live service model.
I was about to say,
kind of
yeah.
bullshit, if you ask me. I mean, we don't have a premium currency or battle pass system with endless forms of MTX, and if that is your definition of a live service game, I guess technically this is not one. But it does have multiple roadmaps now, season passes, a daily plus weekly accolade grind.
The update cadence and like the planning and stuff absolutely fits the bill of a live service, but that's about it. Like this is kind of like they kind of are, and they're just not conventional live service, I think is a better way to put it. What I do think is that this game, much like Outriders, was not planned to be a live service kind of thing. I think one part that kind of gets lost now with something like this is that the thing this game used to get praised for quite a bit was that it had an old school philosophy around the game itself, in that it was like unapologetically old school feeling, where it was just a base game with a base feel that had a direct purpose, and like there was no grander scheme. And I think that philosophy also bled over into the roadmap, where these types of games used to get like 1 or 2 DLCs like tops, and then they would move on to whatever the next thing was. And when they announced that roadmap, they legitimately announced it, seeing those things as like those 1 or 2 DLCs before they moved on. The problem is, in this current era of like how things work, the ship was such a massive success that I think they had to pivot into being more hands-on with the post-game support, and then it kind of turned into a something more akin to a live service, where that probably wasn't what they were planning to do initially, but the success led to more demand, and then the higher demand led to a change of plans, and now we are where we are.
On top of post-launch DLCs, both attached to season passes, and independent ones like the voice pack DLC, it is kind of ridiculous to say they aren't trying to monetize a post-launch player base with promises of new content. And even if it doesn't check every single requirement of other live service games, it is for all intents and purposes a live service game to some degree, and it's kind of insane for Saber to continuously say this is not a live service, at least in my opinion. Especially after year 2 is revealed, where Saber made a pretty massive step forward in terms of a post-launch content release schedule compared to year 1, and this really brings us to the topic as to whether or not the game is dead. This is something I've seen a lot of people bring up.
Yeah, people need to shut the fuck up about that.
I see a lot of players say things that the game is nearing the end of its content life cycle, and people have been saying this for over a year, and I'll be real, I don't know where people are getting this sentiment or information from, because it's definitely not the post-launch support of year 2 compared to year 1. Year 2 was really when this game hit its stride. The anniversary patch 10 was at the time the biggest post-launch patch in the game's history, only slightly beaten in peak player counts on Steam by the most recent Tech Marine update. We're only halfway into year 2, and we've already had 2 new melee and range weapons added to the game, 3 new operations, and 2 new mission bosses, and an entirely new heroic weapon tier. And another boss is coming on the way for all missions in patch 13, and another new weapon as well, not to mention an entirely new class was also added in patch 12. And to put that in perspective, the entire entirety of Year 1 had 2 secondary weapons added, 0 new melee or ranged weapons, 3 operations with 1 mission boss, and an undercooked siege mode, with the best update being arguably the Prestige update, as that added far more substantial content than the new game mode. Year 2 is pretty much just strictly better in terms of content drops compared to Year 1, and the player count, at least on Steam, reflects that, as the average amount of players in Year 2 has been higher than Year 1, with substantially larger peaks as well. I see people bring up all the time that the peak player count for Space Marine 2 is over 200,000 players at launch, and obviously an average of 10 to 15k daily players is a substantial decrease from that, but this is just how games work. Almost all player bases for games lose 85 to 90% of their player base post-launch, as the initial flood of players move on to different games and the more dedicated player base takes over outside of major patch releases. Even if we look at what is by far the most popular horde shooter in the past 10 years, or arguably ever, which is Helldivers 2, that game is nowhere near its peak player count anymore, and Space Marine 2 is a far more niche title than that is. In the case of Space Marine 2, the idea the game is ramping down its content drops when the updates for this year are more substantial than Year 1, and there are more players now than in Year 1 as well, and the game is now more widely available on consoles, thanks to it now being accessible on both Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. I think Saber made a pretty massive push in Year 2, especially for Techmarine, to get more new players into the game, as we saw major reveals for Techmarine, which was the most pushed update in the game's history, directly coincide with Space Marine 2's launch of Game Pass and availability on PSN Plus shortly thereafter. You could make the argument the game is entering its try for free phase, which can be a sign that a game is in the decline, which we've seen with a few other titles. And just to go over the flip side of this topic, while yes, we have had more content drops in Year 2 compared to Year 1, that is not saying that all content drops are perfect or that more content equals better content. We had a DLC voice pack as an additional purchasable DLC this year, and that was met with the most backlash by the community out of any content drop we have seen, DLC or otherwise, in Year 1 or Year 2, and this one did feel like Focus was trying to push the player base a bit to see what they could actually get away with in terms of additional DLC quality and price points. They found out very quickly that Space Marine 2's player base will not stand for egregiously bad DLCs, and as a result, the voice pack DLC is now free, and they gave out refunds to everyone, which was a pretty huge community victory, considering they probably would have made more DLCs of this quality if nobody said anything, especially for Space Marine 3 in the future. And as far as what my expectations are for the future of this game, I think we should expect a similar level of content drops post Year 2, and I'll go more into the reasons why I believe that based on earnings reports and other publisher comments shortly. But we already know that 2 heroic weapon variants are coming for every single weapon option in Space Marine 2, and there is no way that is actually happening if content drops stop after the Year 2 roadmap, especially since we were supposed to be getting a new weapon in patch 13, so some type of post-launch support is pretty much guaranteed for the game regardless of a Year 3. This was the case with Saber's other game, World War Z, which still gets updates to this day despite a significantly smaller player base than Space Marine 2 has currently. In fact, one of the only major titles Saber's ever properly shut down long-term support for was the Evil Dead game, but that game's player base was exceptionally low. We know that Space Marine 3 will have a 4-year dev cycle just like Space Marine 2 did, which would put the release date at like 2029, which is a ways away. The team that is currently working on Space Marine 2 is often referred to as a skeleton crew. This is a separate team from the one that originally developed the game, and that definitely explains a lot of the major balance changes we've had from the game's original design in the past year. I'm actually more worried for the future of balance in Space Marine 3 compared to Space Marine 2, since the game currently is in a significantly better spot than it was at launch. And if Space Marine 3 launches with similar balance to Space Marine 2, especially after years of playing a version of Space Marine 2 that is presumably even better than the one we have now with multiple balance patches, I think players are going to be disappointed and not want to wait another 1 to 2 years for Space Marine 3 to reach a similar level of quality as Space Marine 2 at the end of its life cycle. But as far as a Year 3 is concerned for this game, Saber has already said that Space Marine 2 support is a long-term plan. Year 1's performance was more than enough to greenlight Year 2, and Year 2 so far has performed significantly better than the majority of Year 1. And considering the launch of Techmarine was a massive success, and we saw slightly higher player counts on Steam than even patch 10, alongside all new players from Xbox Game Pass and PSN Plus coming in as well, the likelihood of a Year 3 is pretty high. But the most important indicator of a Space Marine 2 Year 3 plan is taking a look at the actual money of these companies, which in this case would be the earnings report of Focus Entertainment's parent company, Pull Up Entertainment. In their earnings report for 2025, their revenue for new releases was actually down 70% in the third quarter, and their major profit driver in 2025 was in fact their backlog of games, with Space Marine 2 at the forefront as one of the most major profit drivers of the company. And even with the release of of Toxic Commandos from Saber a little while ago, I imagine Space Marine 2 is still pulling them in a lot of money this year as well. And that really is the biggest indicator you'll get for anything regarding content drops in a game like this, because at the end of the day, even though Space Marine 2's monetization plan is very consumer friendly, with all the gameplay content coming out for free, including new classes with only cosmetics as paid DLC, these are for-profit companies, and if something is making them money, that is where they are most likely going to focus their efforts. So given the performance of Space Marine 2's Year 2 plan, their earnings report having the game as a major profit driver, and just prior developer and publisher comments on future content for the game, I'd say that Year 3 is very likely to be coming to Space Marine 2, and we are also getting an updated roadmap to the game fairly soon as well, which is supposed to have some major changes to the current one we have. Not to mention, the most major Warhammer 40k gaming event, Warhammer Skulls, is also going to be happening next month, so we'll probably be getting even more information there for not just Space Marine 2, but also things like Dawn of War 4 and Total War Warhammer 40k. And I see many people say things like Space Marine 2 wouldn't be as popular as it is if it wasn't 40k, but in my opinion, that just means the game found its niche and target audience, which is 40k fans. And the game has kind of just become a hub for people who love Warhammer 40k lore and armor customization to have a fun backdrop to play as one of the most popular factions in the setting. With that being reflected with the main character of the campaign, Dimitri and Titus, also being pushed to the forefront of not only their games, but also their animations like Secret Level on Amazon Prime, and even the tabletop with the reveal of 500 Worlds with the box set narrative campaign, that will probably have major implications for the story of Space Marine 3 as well. But let me know what your guys' opinion on this is. Do you...
Game's fine. It's beyond fine. Like, they've completely won and overachieved in everything. There's really no reason to be concerned at the moment. Like, people need to just fucking tune out the noise and just enjoy whatever it is they enjoy. Just play the game. Or don't. Like, whatever it is you fucking think is fun, just go do that. Tune out the people on the outside that just spend all day quite literally staring at fucking Steam charts. They're like the other version. Like, they say, like, some people, the old way of saying it, when you heard conversations between like console warriors and like fanboys and shit, there was always that claim, it was an accurate claim by the way, that some guys don't play video games, they don't play PlayStation, they don't play Xbox, they don't play Nintendo, they play Twitter. It's the same thing with Steam chart guys. Like, they don't actually log into anything, they just sit on Steam all day just staring at numbers and then posting about it on Twitter or YouTube comment sections. You got to tune those guys out and just have fun with whatever it is you're having fun with.
Nick Shirley confronts California Dems hiding fraud by Carl DeMaio, a very based California politician dude. I think he's from San Diego, but he's very based. This guy has been like single-handedly he's one of the biggest like advocates for cutting all of this bullshit in California. And what's funny is he's gay. So he's actually, the reason why that's relevant is because, dude, they must fucking hate this guy. They must hate
he's a turncoat
so much. He's constantly going after them and like trying to uncover all of this fraud, trying to fix all of these policies. He just wants business.
By the way, I'm not actually calling him a turncoat. That's just how they would see it. Like, once you like step out of line on even one thing, you're like basically a traitor.
Life to be better for average California people, which is something that California politicians don't typically want. So anyway, he's super based. All right, let's go.
Nick Shirley to Sacramento, and Democrats are running like cockroaches when the lights are turned on in the middle of the night.
Yep.
Coming up, we'll tell you about how Democrats were caught trying to pass the Stop Nick Shirley Act, a bill to make it unlawful for citizen journalists to post videos online exposing waste, fraud, and
of course they would like that.
And abuse. What did Nick do when we brought him to Sacramento, and what we all can do to block this crazy unconstitutional infringement on our First Amendment.
Was there a bet? Will she start videos before 2 hours?
Rights. The Stop Nick Shirley Act and how we can block this bill from ever being passed, coming up right now.
Have you seen any of this happen in any other state?
I don't think anyone's ever seen this happen in America, to be honest.
I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state representative. And that's right, California Democrats are proposing a Stop Nick Shirley Act. If you don't know who he is, he's a citizen journalist who helped uncover all the fraud in Minnesota, and he's been now traveling around the country, particularly here in California,
he's a fusion,
exposing even more fraud against taxpayer funds. The California Democrats, who invented
he doesn't
the
have
worst
crit,
fraud
does he?
machine in the nation right here in California. You think Minnesota's bad? No, California. This is where all the dirty tricks were actually invented. California Democrat politicians don't want the fraud to be uncovered. And so they have proposed...
Chat, I think I might actually be autistic.
AB
oh, he doesn't even... I still have 3 slots.
Stop Nick Shirley Act. We're going to go through a couple things here. First,
I never finished building him out.
Confronted Democrat lawmakers who are co-authors of the Stop Nick Shirley Act, and they denied knowing anything about it. And they ran like cockroaches down the street.
Of course they did.
Fleeing him because they didn't want to actually answer questions on camera.
Nick Shirley is like leftist kryptonite, dude. He's bad actor kryptonite. You know what Nick Shirley is kind of like? He's kind of like Little O'Keefe. Just scares the shit out of anyone. Like they see him, like, oh god.
We're gonna cover. But first, you need to get involved in this fight.
He's like Chris Hansen for Democrats.
It's about informing you. It's about activating you in the fight. Stop bad bills like AB 2624, the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Go to our website, reformcalifornia.org.
Oh, let's pivot on this a little bit.
Ranging from
so is he a 5%er? Is that what it is? His crit rate? Yeah, he's a 5%er.
To the Save.
Damn. So typically when you have 5%, you do want to avoid going crit.
Tax hikes, but also our campaign to Doge California.
Nice.
We are supporting citizen journalists.
It tends to not be worth going crit if you have a 5%er.
How did memes become like? Dude, memes are actually, I know how, but memes are mainstream political now. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, you wouldn't have thought that like 10 years ago. All memes now. Even like the White House is posting memes, right? This is amazing. Like, what a time to be alive.
Shine a light on government.
Holy crap!
Expose the truth, the program failures, the corruption, and yes, the waste, fraud, and abuse. But we can't do any of this work without your help. So do a few things. Number one, share some of the campaigns on that website. Number two, sign up at the bottom of the website so that we can keep you informed as to what's going on. No, we do not sell nor share any of your information. Just sign up so that you get our voter guide, our plain English voter guide, when your ballot arrives, telling you what the ballot measures do, because, you know, the politicians like to lie to you on the ballot with all these deceptive titles. You also will receive all the endorsements for candidates on your ballot, including in the judge races. We do all the research for you, and we issue endorsements only for principled, common sense leaders, fighters, not sellouts. And finally, please chip in a contribution while you're there. We can't do any of this work without your support. So let's start out first. What is the Stop Nick Shirley Act? Well, I coined it, the Stop Nick Shirley Act. It's a bill that's authored by Assemblymember Mia Bonta. She's a Democrat. She's also the wife of California Attorney General Rob Bonta, Democrat who's not been doing his job as the AG. Instead of going after the criminals and the fraudsters, he's going after parents, churches, you know, anyone who's a Republican, goes after his political opponents rather than going after the criminals. So Mia Bonta proposes this act. She says it's about stopping people from threatening immigration service providers. So all this welfare money that's going into these nonprofit groups, these left-wing groups, a lot of that is the subject of the fraud. And she doesn't want fraud and abuse to be exposed. So she puts this bill together claiming to be protecting the physical well-being.
That defense nerf is kind of harsh.
I don't know, fake
Isn't there an R? There is an R.
This other group, Chirla LA, the Coalition for
Let me see if I can correct this a little bit.
They've doxed law enforcement agents.
Because I might be able to offset.
Yeah,
they've organized.
These are the people that care so much about. They care so much about people and their privacy.
Cooldown went to 78. That's fine.
Violent protests in
I could get that right back up with the arcade tuning board, I think.
Far left-wing militant organization that seemingly is agitating and breaking the law, putting federal law enforcement at risk of danger, of violence, interfering with federal law enforcement. So instead of at least, you know, answering questions in the public light of day, they want to keep things secret. So her bill, and I'm going to share with you the bill. Here it is, AB 2624. Her bill says, oh, we're just going to keep their information private. That, you know, we're going to keep the identity of these people private. Why keep their identity private? They're not doing anything top secret. You certainly don't want law enforcement, ICE agents, to keep their identity private. But what's stuck in the middle of the bill is this section right here. And this is what we're talking about.
Okay,
this is the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Read this section, 6218.19. Basically says that someone, a person, business, or association like Nick Shirley, cannot post, publicly display, or disclose, or distribute on the internet the image
7935. Why didn't this change?
They call them a
hold on. They made a privacy. They're making a privacy thing where you can't show them online, but only for specific people. Only for the specific people that like they want to protect. That's it. Not for everyone else. Jeez.
Designated immigration support service provider, employee, or volunteer.
Ones.
And if you go back to the top of the legislation, that's defined as anyone providing a government service to anyone who might be an immigrant, whether legal or illegal. In other words, all those fake hospices can say, "Oh, we."
Wait, and hold on. Specifically for immigrants? Specifically for immigrant services, dude. These guys hate citizens so much. Like they do. Like honestly, dude. They tax you the fucking hell. They fuck up your streets. They fuck everything up, and then they do their best to cater to immigrants. It's actually unreal. Like this is literally being cucked. This is literally being cucked. Like this is so stupid.
Some of our
and you keep endorsing this shit.
Might be immigrants. They would be covered under this bill. The Somali Leering Centers, yep, also covered under these bills with no kids at the daycare.
Yeah, unbelievably brazen.
Covered under the bill. So you can't take video of them doing whatever they're doing, whether it's organizing a violent protest, helping people evade law enforcement, interfering with law enforcement, or running a fake hospice or fake Somali Leering Center daycare. Can't post any of those videos on the internet
defense loss is actually still too insane. That's the problem.
In court and injunctive and declaratory relief by courts of competent
It's still down 11%. I'd have to fucking double it.
All the other stuff is window dressing.
Wait, no, this one actually worked. What the hell?
Act, black and white. So that's what.
Okay, wait. So just do a regular defense mod.
Constitutional. It's against the First Amendment, but it will basically intimidate, bully, and bankrupt citizen journalists who are trying to uncover fraud.
Of course, because they hate them.
Which is the intent. This is the goal.
They hate citizen journalists because they can't control them. That's why they're not like within their legacy media realm of control. They fucking hate them. They don't count anything that these citizen journalists do as like actual real journalism. They think it's just harassment.
This is why they have AB 624, the Stop Nick Shirley Act. So we have a plan to stop it. First, we're going to try to spread the word far and wide. The fact that the California legislature is trying to cover up fraud by stopping citizen journalists by passing AB 2624. The more people hear about this, even Democrat voters, they're appalled. They know that this is not right. They want the fraud to be exposed, and this is taxpayer money.
I think that's a lie.
Like, to be honest, like I don't think this is a majority. I don't think this is a majority like issue. Like I don't think a majority of Democrats even agree with this, right? Like I think majority of Democrats just don't know, right? So like letting them know about it, like would letting them know about it would help a lot. Because I think even they would be like, whoa, this is kind of fucked up, right? But the thing is, like, obviously the Democrat Party is controlled by these, like, hardcore radicals, but I don't think, like, the everyday Democrat would actually still agree with that. It's just the problem is I think the everyday Democrat just listens to, like, what they're told. I'm just being real. Like, there's only a couple that are, like, kind of, like, more, like, center-ish, that would actually look up things themselves, but they're the ones that all of the other Democrats hate anyway. They're the ones that all the other Democrats basically call traitors or whatever. They call them the same thing that they call people like Shoe on Head, for example, right? Shoe on Head's a good example. Where like she's kind of socialist, right? But like she's like at least not full retard, right? Like she's thinking about things and like what's best for. And I don't know. Maybe it's because she has a family. Well, Asmongold doesn't vote for Democrats at all. He said he would never do it. So like even if Asmund is still like kind of on the left, he's like not really in their camp. Yeah. But Shoe on Head is like a good example where like, we disagree on policy, but then she's not like, she still cares about her family and cares about her family in the country.
Yeah, but she'll still keep going. She'll still keep going along with this bullshit when it comes to like day of.
I'm gonna play.
That's why she's a net negative.
Of me on the floor making a motion, and I explain to people what the Stop Nick Shirley Act is. I tell all these assembly members, this is what the bill does. The author
I
lied.
constantly say Shu is kind of like basically the last bastion by herself. She is single-handedly carrying that side because she's the one person that could actually call out and be objective about what's going on her side. But at the same time, in light of everything that she accurately calls out, she still sides with it when push comes to shove, and that's why she's a lost cause.
To you, if she said that it was about anything but this, she came to a hearing, she said that this language was not in her bill, she lied. We need to send this bill right back to that committee, which would basically kill it. When you send a bill back to a committee, it's done. The assembly members know what this bill does. I handed out the language even to the co-authors who put their name on the bill. More on that in just a minute. And they decided to keep her bill alive by voting down my motion. You can see me make my motion on the floor. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want a dirt list. I want the list of names of Democrats voting in favor of this crap. And the more and more they're voting in favor of it, the more we can weaponize their votes against them come election. And as this spreads, maybe we'll be able to stop it before it ultimately gets out of both of the chambers of our state legislature. But we also were thrilled to welcome Nick Shirley to Sacramento. On the very day I made that motion on the floor to kill the bill, and that the Democrats voted that down,
Sacramento
was
sucks,
standing
by the way.
outside waiting for them. And they all leave through the same exit on
the only thing good about Sacramento is Old Town Sacramento. There's like a place where you can get really good taffy. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Is that place still there? I don't know. There was a place there that had really good taffy. Saltwater taffy.
Capitol.
And you know what I'm talking about? Mostly Safe? Dude, that store is so cool. Wait, it's still there? Oh, that's such a cool store. I love it. Like, I loved going there.
And so he was waiting there with the filming crew. And boy, wait till you see these cockroaches scattering. So I met up with Nick Shirley after I made my motion.
And fudge, right? It's like fudge, right? Saltwater taffy and fudge. Classic.
And we basically waited for these legislators to walk out of the building, and then he got them. Here's the video of Nick Shirley's visit to Sacramento on the day we made the motion to kill the Nick Shirley bill, and that Democrats decided to vote that down and keep it alive. Watch it.
Nick Shirley, thank you. Welcome to Sacramento. Sorry that you actually have to be here because they're trying to silence you with this AB 2624.
Yeah, they really don't like hearing speech here.
Now, you just tried to ask simple questions of our elected representatives. You said, where are you on this bill? Will you oppose the bill? And most of them ignored you, didn't say a word to you. Isn't it easier to talk to and interview the fraudsters, like the fake hospices and the Leering Center, people?
And I mean, I was just asking them about the bill in itself, and I said, like, it's this, and this. Can you tell us a little more? You're a cooperator. Some of them weren't even informed that they signed the bill, that they passed the bill.
But you got more conversation with some of these groups that don't have Somali kids in daycare, some of the fake hospices. Those people were more willing to talk to you to try to explain what they were doing than these legislators on this bill.
It's insane. I've never seen anything like it.
Here's the chat, right? Like, I feel like this is kind of just. So one thing that I've learned recently, like, this seems like a very easy observation. Like, it's not really deep, it's not really profound, but it's something we forget, I think, is that you can really judge people by their actions. That's how you can know, like, what they're actually about. Like, what people say they're about is like kind of whatever. You know, people say shit all the time, what they're about. What you can tell what a person's actually about by what they do. And this is for everybody. Like, if you want to know if a person's a grifter, just like look at what they actually do, right? That's the thing. Like, what do they do and what are they passionate about? That's how you can tell, right? And so the thing is with these people, right? Is they claim that they don't want any of this fraud. They claim that you know, they're looking out for, you know, the citizens of America, but then, like, look what they do. Like, look at the actions that they take. It's so fucking obvious. It's so obvious that their priority is with these immigrants, and it's with immigrants, illegal immigrants, and people that are abusing the law. That they have some interest in protecting them, and it's so obvious from their actions, right? Like, who cares what they say? Look at what they do. Don't look at their eyes. Look at their hands. Look at their hands. Look at their intent. And they say this some, like, in self-defense, right? Where the eyes are not where the intent lies. The hands are where the intent lies. Have you guys heard this? Anybody watch self-defense videos about like self-defense, like firearm self-defense and stuff like that, you don't look at the eyes for the intent. You look at the hands. You never look at their eyes for intent. Yeah.
Or with boxing, it's looking at the shoulders. The shoulders are typically the tell so that you can see the whole body, like through peripheral.
Always pay attention to their hands, because the hands show the intent, right? The works that they do shows the intent. Yeah, so it's the same thing with these people. The things that they do, what's the intent? Like what can we see them doing? What can we see them doing, not what they're saying? What can we see that they're physically doing, that they're physically partaking in, the things that they're passionate about, the things that they want to do, right? That's where you can see what their actual intent is.
Correct.
And I feel like if you think about this and you actually integrate this into like your system of defense, like your your Quango defense system or whatever you want to call it, like your firewall that helps you understand like how people are. Look at what they do. Look at what they do.
That's the real thing that would radicalize you.
That's how I feel about it. Is if you actually care so much about a thing, you're gonna take actions specifically. You will specifically take actions to maximize what that is. So like if a person tells you like, oh, I love anime so much, but they don't watch anything. What are you talking about? Do you really like? Right? This is kind of what I mean. And you can use this for everything. Oh, I love gaming. Like, oh, what do you play? Let's see what you're playing. Like, do you actually care that much about gaming? Let's see what you're playing.
They'll usually say Fortnite, Minecraft, Call of Duty,
okay, let's see
2K.
what you're doing to help citizens. So anyway, I just wanted to. I thought that was an important point to bring up. Like, I feel like we always forget this, right? It's always in our tendency to look at people's eyes, to look at people's eyes as in like the window of their soul. Like, you look at their what they want to show you. You look at what they say, and we take those things and we assume that that's actually what they're about. But what is like the things that they're actually doing?
This is super important. People have a lot of questions about the AB 2624 Act, aka the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Tell us about it.
Well, there is no Stop Nick Shirley Act, but the author's not here today, but I hope you can find it.
But you're a co-author of this.
I'm a co-author of many, many bills that protect vulnerable communities in California.
Good, so you should know a lot about this bill. For instance, it shields immigration.
Hold on one. Hey.
I hate to disrupt the phone call. This is important. Wait, come on.
Roached
Look at that.
out.
These guys really just don't want to answer any of the questions. Here's one of the authors of the bill. How are you guys doing? We just want to ask you about the bill and why you guys would pass this bill that really is an attack on free speech.
I am not even sure what you're talking about.
Really?
You said an author. I don't think
yes.
I'm an
Did
author.
did you sign to pass this bill? The AB 26?
No, I don't
24?
know what you're talking about.
Ooh.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
You do not.
And she's smiling because she does.
We're talking about something random. Okay. Speaker Rivas, how are you doing? What do you think about the Stop Nick Shirley Act?
I'll also say, like, he's got, I mean, it's not like on Tyler's level, but he definitely, his balls are up there for sure, man. Tyler's on another level though in terms of like no fear, but Nick is getting there.
AB 2624.
Literally Nick Shirley.
And do you think there's any conflict of interest there with Mia Bonta and her husband being the AG? Oh, that just shows you everything you need to know. These people won't even answer the questions. What's your thoughts on this AB 2624 bill? Any response? Like, what would make you guys want to pass this?
Thank you.
Do you think it makes it harder for fraud to get discovered here in the United States? Why can't you guys just answer our questions? Oh, you guys are the ones who are signing off on these bills. So what do you think about the Stop Nick Shirley Act, AB 2624? You don't know much about it? Or?
I don't know if I know that.
Oh, well, can I tell you a little bit about it?
She's a co-author of the...
You should know about it, though, because it's kind of your job. So, the Stop Nick Shirley Act...
You should know, it's your job. Oh, shit.
It does. It shields immigrant...
Fucking ballsy!
Oh, all right, we can keep following you. The Stop Nick Shirley Act shields immigration nonprofit workers
And now
from
she's
public
back to
record
walking this way.
Disclosure. It criminalizes publishing images and videos of covered workers, even taken in public. grants covered orgs power to man video takedowns, imposes a $4,000 civil,
and you see
$10,000
there's multiple women now
$50,000
starting to
felony.
walk,
You know what
try
I
to
think
form
might
a
be
shield.
a better angle than this? I wonder if it's like you say something along these lines. Actually, never mind. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter,
fucking
yeah.
matter with these people.
Yeah,
But
this is the mistake that Leaf realized in real time, is that you can't be reasonable or logical. Like, you kind of have to be like this, because anything less like this, even though this doesn't work, anything less is guaranteed to not work. So it's like, what else are you left with?
What I was gonna say is, like, what if you said something along the lines of what do you think of the act? Of course, if this is true, this, and this, how do you feel about that?
But they know.
I think something like that would be maybe more effective, because then, like, they might not know every single law that they're working. But they should.
In this case,
know.
they absolutely
I don't
know.
man.
Fines per violation
Fucking
applies
quangos.
to taxpayer-funded organizations. Would you support a bill that allows all that to take place? It is your job. Would you support a bill? Yes or no, ma'am?
Can you take
Thank
that
you,
out of
baby.
our
It was
face?
so good to meet you. I hope you have a great day.
It's
Ma'am,
not
you're
in
literally
her.
working for us, but you won't even answer our own questions. Like, these people
They don't. Here's the thing too: is these people, they don't see it that way. They don't see their
They
jobs
don't,
as
actually.
being,
She's
as
right.
working for citizens. They don't see that. They just see it as them being in a position of power.
paid by our tax dollars, yet they can't even answer anything.
Assemblymember DeMaio, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, here he
Pursuant
is, the
to
goat.
Assembly Rule 96, I make the debatable motion to re-refer AB 2624, the Stop Nick Shirley Act, back to the Privacy Committee.
Excuse me, Mr. DeMaio, just a moment. I'm so sorry. Members, can I please have decorum? Take your desks. Mr. DeMaio, if you wouldn't mind, would you mind beginning thing? Thank you.
Pursuant to Assembly Rule
What just happened right
96,
there?
I make the debatable motion to re-refer AB 2624, the Stop the Nick Shirley Act, back to the Privacy Committee. Assembly Republicans are here to debate fraud. And
Mr. DeMaio, as I cautioned earlier, we are making a motion. We are not arguing the merits of that motion. So your motion is to move the bill back to committee. Is that correct?
It is a debatable motion,
Thank you.
and I can
Thank
speak to
you.
the
We understand the rules. We understand the rules. Requires a second. Seconded by Mr. Tangipa.
The reason why I make the
Just
motion...
a moment, Mr. DeMaio.
Why are you
Mr.
cutting
DeMaio,
him
I
off?
really
That's his
appreciate your
time.
patience. Thank you very much, sir. I want to caution you, this is a debatable motion, but I do want to caution you that debate is limited to the motion itself. It is not on the merits of the bill, and I certainly don't want to interrupt your talking points.
But you are.
So please proceed, sir.
I understand, Mr. Speaker, and we will keep our comments to the propriety of the re-referral of AB 2624, the Stop Nick Shirley Act. The reason why
He's getting what he's getting mad about is that he keeps calling it what he's calling it. That's what's triggering this guy.
be re-referred to the Privacy Committee is that the author of this bill misrepresented contents of the bill, lied to committee members, and as a result, the Privacy Committee was denied their opportunity to a fair vetting of the bill. I urge this body to send this bill back to the Privacy Committee so that they can re-vote on this bill. I do not believe that the members of the committee would vote to advance it out of committee as they did last week if they knew.
Excuse me, Mr. DeMaio. State your point, Madam Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, no one should be talking about one of my members on the floor that they are a liar.
Your point is well taken, Mr. DeMaio. Please use decorum.
This Karen
You
bullshit.
should not call us a liar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Oh my God, man.
The confusion
No.
created around
Throw
this
it all
bill
out.
can easily be resolved if the bill is sent back to Privacy Committee and the language of the bill is actually vetted. Section 6218.19 was misrepresented at the Privacy Committee as not stopping citizen journalists from recording and posting internet evidence of fraud. That's exactly what this bill does. Read the language yourself. It is plain English. First Amendment lawyers are appalled by this. Journalist organizations are appalled by this. This is an infringement on the First Amendment rights of individuals and journalists to go out and uncover fraud.
Yep.
The Privacy Committee deserves the right of proper, truthful information as to what the contents and the effect of a bill would be. Assembly Bill 2624, when I questioned the author at committee, she denied that her bill had these provisions in the text. And now we find, just looking at
Ergo, she's a fucking liar, like he said.
plain English provisions, section 6218.19 prohibits an individual from posting a video online if the fraud organization says you can't do that. The fraud organization can then, quote, seek injunctive and declaratory relief in a court of competent jurisdiction.
He went in.
These people are brazen. What the heck?
Leaf didn't even notice it. Leaf didn't even notice it. Right there. So I'm going to go back a few seconds here. This snotty bitch just walked out right in front of him after saying, "Don't call us a liar."
Declaratory relief in a court of competent jurisdiction.
Look, there she is, walking out. Look at this shit. This is fucking disgusting.
These people are brazen. What the heck?
Journalists then could be bankrupt with high costly attorney's fees and penalties. I believe, Mr. Speaker, that if the Privacy Committee had the proper,
and now she's
accurate, truthful information on the contents of this bill, that it never would have been referred out of the Privacy Committee. The best way to do this bill is to refer it back to Privacy Committee, and that's why I'm making this motion.
So hold on, you're telling me that these people didn't read it? They pushed it forward.
Shocker.
They didn't even read it. You serious? Could you see?
It's the don't say gay thing all over again.
And look, even if you didn't want to read it, you know you could use Grok, right? Put that shit in the AI.
True.
And just have it summarized for you, like all of the important points, you know?
Under Assembly Bill 96, Republicans are concerned about this bill, and we would like you to hear out our arguments in favor of the re-referral.
Okay, I know. I'll read it out at the end of the video. They tabled his motion. Dude, of course they did.
Look, we don't have to accept the Nick
Jesus
Shirley bill
Christ,
as a law. They may pass it, or we might be able to defeat it. So like this video, subscribe to this channel so that we can spread the word as to what the Democrats are doing in Sacramento.
That's
but
what we're
more
doing.
importantly, join us at reformcalifornia.org. If you haven't signed up at the bottom of that website, sign up, join this growing movement statewide. That way you get our weekly newsletter with all the news on what's going on in the state of California that the liberal media won't tell you, that our citizen journalists are dredging up and exposing.
Yeah.
Get on that list.
Hot take, fraud should be illegal. I know. Hot take, we should find out about fraud so we can do something about it. Damn, that's crazy. Are you a Nazi? It seems like a Nazi take over there.
We don't sell or share information. So this is all about getting you tethered into our growing movement.
Oh, I get it. They not seeing the fraud.
And if you can, please chip in a contribution while you're there. Until next time, I'm Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California and a California State Representative.
All right, guys, if you have anyone from California, you gotta send this to them. You gotta send it to them so they know that they're being scammed. All right, guys.
She made it the outro. Oh man, I will help this.
We brought Nick Shirley.
A vote. Okay. Jesus, man, that's infuriating.
Alright, let's do it. Uh-oh. What else? Women is cancelled.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So over the years, I've made many videos talking about individuals leading cancellation campaigns targeting content creators and or companies over wrongthink and other problematic behavior. And in all those situations, it typically involves an individual who is a massive hypocrite by their own standards. And today we're farming more content involved.
Let me guess, they found something absolutely deranged. Considering what we saw in the tweet, every single virtue signal is just laid out on the table. I'd love to see what else they've done.
A situation just like that, but this one is special. This involves layers of hypocrisy that I have never seen before, including behavior that is quite frankly deranged and celebrating and even encouraging violence against those who think differently than the person leading the charge in this latest cancellation campaign. Now, where do we begin? Well, we begin with the company Ooh Market, which is a merch company I've been working with.
My merch as well, you know, it's pretty cool, nice company, very kind people.
For around 4 years, they have been a great partner. Not only do they provide great merch, they're also someone who's had my back and the backs of many content creators who work with them. And as per usual, every time I have a current merch drop with them, somebody out there is trying to cancel the company. And this time, this individual is leading the charge, an individual named Kyle, who had this to say.
Kyles are the men Karens of the universe. If your name is Kyle, I'm sorry, you probably have a chance that you know a Kyle that is a crash outer. This guy is crashing out. Classic Kyle. Not to say every Kyle is a Kyle, but it's not every Karen is a Karen, but like statistically.
Calling out Ooh Market for working with grifters like Powder. Well, of course, promoting themselves.
I cannot stand people like this. I'm a creator, I'm an engineer, I'm a friend to those that agree with me, and everybody else can go die. If you disagree with me, well, you should. You know what I'm saying? 10 years ago, the meme was Kyle's drink Monster and punch drywall, something like that. Yeah, well, they crash out. This guy's Kyle, and he's crashing out. He's living up to his name.
In the first reply of their post, canceling someone for being a grifter. Very ironic.
That word has completely lost its meaning.
We're going to get into the layers of hypocrisy and the deranged behavior of this individual in just a second, but I'm going to do the most logical thing in this situation, and that is promote myself. Ladies and gentlemen, as I'm sure you're already aware, I have a plushie campaign with Ooh Market live right now. We are over 200% funded with about 2 weeks to go on this campaign. Check it out, guys. It is the original Rev design here. I'll give you the 360 view. This little Revling needs a home, ladies and gentlemen. This not only greatly supports this channel, but it really sticks it to individuals like the main protagonist of this video who are trying to cancel Ooh Market and creators like myself. It really, really gets under their skin when you support campaigns like this. And not only will you accomplish that, you'll get a great product that supports this channel. I can't thank you guys enough for supporting this campaign. I'll put a link to this in the pinned comment and the description. Please give it a quick look, and if you want to support this campaign, I would greatly appreciate it. So,
nice to me, by the way.
Who is the individual that is leading this charge here? Well, it's this Kyle individual, and this is their post. So they say, hey, at Ooh Market, I see you're hitting my business email to strike a partnership. It's a big opportunity, and I appreciate you looking out for the boy, but I don't want to work with companies that
okay, too bad. Go somewhere else. Someone giving a fuck. Elbozo.
For grifters like Powder. If you ever start caring about real people, let me know. Maybe we can work something out. Till then, I'll figure it out on my own. No hard feelings, just standards. See ya. Well, first of all, this seems like it could have been a private conversation. Like if you have issues with Ooh Market, you could have just like emailed them back.
People are always so fucking condescending,
man. This entire situation, and also try to rope in other content creators and try to cancel the company.
It's like the most toxic mix of condescending and main character syndrome. It's fucking gross.
So this is not their first rodeo here. They love this sort of Karen behavior, okay? They do want to speak to the manager any time they can. In fact, in the last month alone, this is now the 3rd time they've tried to get someone's sponsors removed. And
it's not always the same people, but it is always the same people. Actually, I would love to get this person canceled. By the way, didn't this inadvertently, like, make people, like, I don't know, go watch Powder and Rev even more?
Yes,
because
it always ends up having the reverse effect.
And trying to go viral.
In this scenario right here, tagging companies like GamerSupps, because FanFan refused to, I guess, condemn the use of the dreaded R word in her community. And then you can see them tagging Vialore, trying to, I guess, get Vialore to drop one of their talents for being transphobic, according to this individual, not knowing that the question is the owner of the company, so they're literally tagging the person they're trying to cancel to get action
Literally clueless retard.
made against them. It's very funny, but
hey, McDonald's CEO, I'm not gonna eat your McDonald's anymore. Okay, go off, Queen. I don't care.
Sort of crux of their entire tweet, right, is focusing on the grifters, including Powder, who is a content creator we have talked about a bit recently. Powder derangement syndrome is a very real thing,
always the bridesmaid,
just like
never
many
the
other
bride.
derangement syndromes out there. And Powder would do what I guess any person would do in the situation.
Thank you for promoting my merch. Absolutely ratioed, by the way.
And mock it.
Holy
reply.
shit,
I mean, that's the
get
best thing you can do,
idiot.
right? If someone's going to come after you, you can self-promote. They're basically opening the door for you. So Powder says, thanks for promoting my merch. They recently reached out to work on another project with me too. But I'm still deciding what's best for my people. And then Kyle really channels his inner Muujin with this deranged response, saying,
such
"Oh,
a good
hey,
way to put
I know
it.
you. You're the effing loser that chuds pay to pretend to agree with them. I hope."
This
It's
person
such a
lives
weird
in a reality
claim.
where they can't fathom that people have disagreeing opinions and they might have other people that watch them. Imagine living in a world like that. Your worldview, like, this guy probably has never held down a job, like a real one. I just don't think the person like this actually has a proper job. You find out someone disagrees with you at your job, you probably try and get them fired. Oh no!
Unless everybody he works with all think exactly like him, which is very possible.
Implying all her viewers are Nazis. Really weird. Really weird.
Off to you keeps you up at nights. So not only is that first part just utter projection and just a complete crazy thing to say, that last part in particular, when are we going to start calling out this behavior? Like these weird sexualized comments. It's the second time this week a creator has said something like that to Powder. Muujin being the other
They'll
one.
say that like people are incels for calling out and saying like, oh well, this woman probably fucks boys. And they post about it on Twitter and they sound fucking racist, which it is. And it's like, these people don't even hear how fucking retarded they are. They just think it's okay because you disagree with them. They just say it to like add this weird shock value to it for some reason.
Because they think they're on the right side of everything.
like
they think they're morally superior.
I mean, do you have to just like put
secretly really
pronouns in your
racist?
bio to be immune to criticism when it comes to saying hyper-sexualized stuff?
They love to defend women but then call women whores as soon as they disagree with it. Yeah, it's a convenience thing. That's why I say it's virtue signaling. You don't actually care about women or minorities. You're just being a fucking stupid idiot.
Would you be
It's at your
unwarranted
convenience.
to other individuals on Twitter just because you're mad about them? And in this case, you're mad because they're a grifter? I mean, that's the whole point, right? They're not canceling her for any other sort of reason. They're saying they won't work with Uru Market because Powder is a grifter. You know, all these grifters working with Uru Market. Let's talk about a grifter, okay? This is what a grifter looks like.
Yeah.
Someone who makes a...
I think a massive red flag for me is when people post and self-promote and ask for Cash App or like link their Twitch and stuff. I don't think you should do that as a content creator because the people that fucking go to your tweet and like it and see it, they're not gonna go watch your stream. I'm sorry. They're like, it's like very small and it just doesn't, like, I don't know. I've never done it myself, so I always thought it was a little bit weird.
All-out post calling
In
out
my
grifters,
opinion. Maybe
and
you
the
wanna
first
do
thing
it.
they do
I don't know, it's kind of weird.
is promote their Twitch stream
Guys, go
in the
check out my
replies.
Cash App. Please give me money.
That's the first thing they do. That sounds like grifting behavior to me.
And I also think that like Twitter people aren't exactly like an amazing audience to have most of the time. I know there's some people that use Twitter that are fine, but like 99% of the time when a post goes viral like this, the people that want to come to your stream, they're usually not there to stick around. They're not usually are nice people to have in the community.
Okay? And then they respond to that saying, this one really made y'all mad, which means it served its purpose, which, you know, yeah, everyone's seething so much. Everyone's just pointing.
I'm not owned. I'm not owned. I continue insist as I slowly shrink and transform into a corn cob. Dude, Drill used to make such banger tweets, man. Old
and
Twitter.
Laughing at you for being a Karen and trying to get a company canceled and a creator having their sponsorship taken away for being a grifter. Meanwhile, this is you. Down here, literally bragging about having 500,000 impressions in under a month on Twitter.
Don't worry about it, buddy. It doesn't actually pay the bills to have 500,000 impressions on Twitter. Yeah, it's actually not that much money because it's just people looking at it. It doesn't even like count as a proper view. It's people scrolling past it.
This is absolutely diabolical, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot believe this is crazy work. Bragging about Twitter impressions. Not only is it hypocritical when we're talking about grifting and all this person clearly is thriving on the attention. They don't actually care about the post that they're making in the first place. But they're bragging about their Twitter impressions, which they're flexing on other people. Like, this is a different tweet where they're saying get mod, showing off their Twitter engagements. I mean, this is literal retweeter behavior. They care more about Twitter impressions than anything else, let alone...
He's a numbers Eddie. No, he's an absolute fucking poser. I don't know, is he... I would even argue they probably became a VTuber like way later on.
Probably.
The supposed campaign they're leading against Guru Market. And it gets even more ridiculous. They respond to their own post, quoting themselves when they're getting backlash, of course, saying, "You did it, kid," with a video.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm gonna mute the tweet and stop talking about it. Meanwhile, post like 1 million fucking tweets about it.
Showing that they have this sort of AI summary of the situation, and it features themselves. Now, this person doesn't really seem to understand that these sort of headlines, these AI-generated headlines, are largely focused on what you're looking at. So if you're looking at this situation a lot, as this person clearly is, because they're responding to literally dozens, if not hundreds of people of the situation, the algorithm in the search bar is going to give you some AI summaries of things you've been looking at. So obviously, it's going to give you this. I mean, things with a couple dozen people talking about it ends up in this AI summary. And also, oh, AI? Right.
What's the meme of Obama giving himself a medal? It's literally this guy. Oh my god, you did it, kid. You got 1 million impressions on Twitter. You should like tell your next job application about it. Oh wait, no one cares.
Person hates AI, but they love to use it when it, I guess, serves the attention that they're seeking. But let's continue with the grifting, right? This person points out, complains that Powder is a grifter while grifting on X. Classic. And this person says, Kyle says, yes, because spreading the word about a bad merch company is grifting. Caught me red-handed. Now, if it wasn't bad enough, right? If it wasn't obvious enough that they're just doing this for attention and interactions on Twitter, realize this person has a blue check mark next to their name. Okay, they're paying Elon Musk and Twitter to have this badge. It's around $10 a month. Okay, and this means that you can earn revenue for your impressions. Look at this person.
All they
and
care
the way
about.
they've talked about blue check marks next to people's names for
Then go to Blue Sky. I don't understand. Why do all these people complain about Twitter? There's literally
because there's nobody to talk to on Blue Sky.
Use it because nobody fucking uses it apparently.
years.
Huh,
saying number
that's
one,
crazy.
And it's an echo chamber over there.
Conservatives, and also anytime you see a check mark,
you
know you're about
buddy.
to see the dumbest effing opinion known to man. This time saying this website is literally just a bunch of vapid Twitter blue users farming.
This person's, by the way, if this person is actually an engineer, I would be concerned for whatever they do. Because they spend so much time fucking tweeting on fucking Twitter.
Engagement through the same low effort BS. Another one saying, that's it, I've had it. I've installed an extension to block every single paid Twitter Blue user. The irony is palpable, ladies and gentlemen, but wait, the blue checkmark actually goes even further. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you your trans ally. Yes, that's right. Not only are they a person who seems to be supporting the Hogwarts Legacy harassment
every fucking time, bro.
campaign back in 2023, they said this about Twitter Blue users. That Twitter
Guys, a tweet is gonna make a difference to trans people, guys. I support you. Trust me.
Blue is a direct line to another famous anti-trans billionaire dweeb. So they believe that buying Twitter Blue is directly funding anti-trans billionaires like Elon Musk. It's harming trans people. Well, a month after that, they say, Happy International Trans Day of Visibility.
I noticed that they said Free Palestine, but they probably still go to McDonald's and Starbucks to get their coffee every morning. Interesting.
I will fight for you until the day I die.
These people are such virtue signalers.
Well, I guess the fight ended, and also, I guess they're no longer visible because they don't really seem to care too much, because then they went out and bought Twitter Blue, which apparently is hurting trans people by their own standard. You can't make this up, ladies and gentlemen. But actually, it gets worse. So in another tweet about Twitter Blue, they say, if I see one more dumb blue check with a name like blah 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 that can't spell, I'm going to do something drastic. And then down here, they make this meme, which...
How many fucking tweets does this person have? 18,000? Bro! Another one! It's just always
Permanently
the same
online.
Shit. 18,000 tweets!
At first, I want to pretend is just a meme and a joke, but then again, this person does seem genuinely unhinged. And this is where it gets a lot darker, ladies and gentlemen. Number one,
registered in 2011. It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters how many fucking... How long you've had an account for. First of all, you'd have to know the spread. That's still way too many tweets.
It is.
As I say, with every single person who's acting a fool on Twitter and talking about empathy and trying to do the right thing, keyword search Charlie Kirk. And you'll see Kyle here celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Celebrating the fact that his wife is now a widow and his children will grow up without a father because he was assassinated for his political views. And look at this. Look at the switch up. Back in 2018, Kyle here, tagging a literal dead man, by the way, tagging XXX Tentacion.
Social media has done irreversible damage to people's brains. This person is tagging. Like, who? Like, I know who this guy is. He's a rapper that got shot and killed. Yeah, I know who he is, but it's like...
Talking about how he changed so many lives with his music, and he didn't deserve to die.
Oh, that's
well,
crazy.
Interesting. He has empathy for a guy who, by the way, in an audio recording, admitted to beating the lights out of his girlfriend. That guy didn't deserve it. And the trial, by the way, never completed because, well, he passed away before the trial was completed. That was back in 2018. He thinks he deserves empathy, but then when Charlie Kirk's assassinated, he's jumping up and down for joy, celebrating it because he didn't like his opinions, his political beliefs.
No.
2018 to now. You know what this is called, ladies and gentlemen? This is called radicalization. This is radicalization. This is years in the works. You have a person tweeting this
and nobody told him to stop. Or people do tell him to stop, but it's not enough. Now he's out of control. He just doesn't know when to stop.
Back then, showing empathy for XXX Tentacion of all people, and then celebrating the assassination of someone like Charlie Kirk. This doesn't happen overnight. and it is absolutely outrageous to see. But it doesn't end. It continues. Back in 2023, you can see Kyle here telling Kid Rock to off himself. Why, you ask exactly? Because Kid Rock posted a video boycotting blue light. And according to Kyle, well, that's a step too far. Also, Kyle has an issue with chibi reviews and is a hypocrite yet again. So, responding to this post where Chibi was talking about a very dire situation he was in, a very tough road he was in at the moment. If you know, you know. If you're aware of the situation, he was
with his best friend.
Yeah, it was Bud Light over the beer, and now guess what? Bud Light.
He said blue light.
Back to the old days. That's right.
Going through a horrible time, and Kyle would respond by calling him a predator grifter. And then when someone points out that, well, you can't tell the difference between fiction and reality.
Again, someone needs to check this guy's hard drives. I don't know.
Kyle calls that person a predator as well, and then says, keep yourself safe, which, you know, just use the first letters of these 3 words, and it is a way of subtly, not so subtly, telling someone to off themselves. So not only do they continue that behavior, but they're saying you're a predator over fictional content. Well, unfortunately for this guy, he's a hypocrite once again, saying he stumbled upon an anime called The Night. And it's one of the most beautiful and serene shows he's ever seen. Well, Kyle, did you know that there's like fan service and romance involving a character in her 30s and a 14-year-old?
No.
What does that make you?
No, that's different, bro. It's because it's a guy. You don't even get it, bro. You don't get it.
By your own standards, because you can't separate fiction from reality, apparently. Yeah, many such cases.
It's fine when it's
you know,
a guy.
your likes are public moment. We don't even need likes to be public anymore. People just post things that out themselves as massive hypocrites over fiction. But of course, we'll add in Asmongold derangement syndrome as well.
Let me guess. He says he stinks and smells bad, doesn't refute any of Asmon's points, and calls him ugly, and it doesn't have teeth. I literally haven't seen this video. I'm just predicting what they're going to say. Either smells bad, doesn't refute any points, both, or calls him ugly.
Because, of course,
his teeth
Kyle tagging Asmongold, saying your dad would be ashamed of the Nazi as son.
Oh, the parasocial projection. Damn it, I should have known. That's another one. That's a classic of like, your mom and dad would hate you. All right. Parasocial Andy. Yeah.
Has become glad he's not around to have to watch you make a fool of yourself.
God,
so condescending.
I could say the words I could
They're
on
so
Twitch,
condescending.
You're such a loser.
Well, number one, you're glad
the guy's
he passed away. That's a very insane and disgusting and ghoulish thing to say. But
that's because Hassan said it, and Hassan is, I don't know why he fucking does that. Hassan is the one that brought up and was like, your dad would have been ashamed. Even though Hassan was actually very nice to Asmon and said, I'm sorry your dad passed away, he then immediately brought it up again a couple of weeks later and just said like, yeah, if Asmon's dad was around, he would not agree with the things that he said.
Also,
he would not
let's think about the label you're attaching here. Who sounds more like that? Asmongold or the guy who's constantly wishing death and violence upon people who think differently than him? I wonder who the label applies more fairly to. On top of that, you're glad he's not alive to see Asmon make a fool of himself? Have you seen what kind of a fool you've been on the internet?
Also, his dad was alive for like all the time he streamed. Like, why? These people are such tourists. It's like his dad didn't know what he was doing. What? He would even call him on stream and like correct him on like facts and stuff, and it was kind of cute in an endearing way where he was just being a little know-it-all and stuff.
In fact, you've been such a fool that recently you had to take a break from Twitter. This person's been on Twitter since 2011, by the way.
My God.
Despite saying how much they hate it, they can't leave. This is their hellscape. They cannot escape whatsoever. In fact, their latest crash out, their latest break that lasted 2 seconds, was because they were getting so upset about things.
Dude, this guy is probably like Rivals Binted, honestly. At least this guy streams.
That they were afraid they were going to take it out on people they care about. That they're so unhinged that they're going to take it out on other people. Like, are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of your behavior? Are you proud of this campaign you're launching against Uwu Market, attacking all these people?
Really,
and as pointed out by Dark...
There really is an alarming amount of people who don't have the slightest grasp of just normalizing a pause button when you need it, which you are fully in control of at all times. You can just hit pause and reset and, you know, move forward at any time that you want.
Darling Straub, my wife, she quoted Kyle saying trying to drag a good company that has done nothing but try to support VTubers into your petty internet drama is very lame. And then she says, anyways, buy my plushie, because yes, ladies and gentlemen, my wife's plushie is live as well. She is 150% plus funded as well. If you want to check out her adorable plushie, you can as well. I'll put a link underneath mine as well. Please support her campaign if you wish as well. She is absolutely killing it. I'm very proud of her. She is doing a great job on this campaign. But
very nice.
You might notice something about her quotes. It says this post is unavailable. Well, that's because Kyle blocked her. Instantaneously, by the way, as soon as she...
That's exactly what Benton did too. Within about 3 minutes when I reamed him out and I said, you're not going to take a Twitter break. You're never going to stop posting about other people because you're a fucking loser. You don't have a job. You have nothing going for you. This is your life. And he fucking instantly, I shit you not, it was within about 3 minutes of my reply, immediately blocks me. And I'm pretty sure he still has me blocked.
This out, and by the
He
way,
didn't block me before
very
that.
measured, rational, reasonable response. Okay, nothing rude. And blocking Straub in this fashion is very ironic, given the fact this guy, in like the last day, was mocking people who have to screenshot and post about someone's tweets because they're blocked. What do you think he does with my wife? He blocks her and then talks about her tweets through
we upset her. I blocked her first.
A screenshot. The hypocrisy literally never ends. And then Kyle says, uh-oh, we upset Queen Chud with this one. Well, if she's Queen Chud, I guess I'm the King Chud. But yeah, let's check out that label because, ladies and gentlemen, we can check the label of Chud. In case you missed it, some very sane individual made an entire...
That was so fucking silly, dude.
A Google spreadsheet of all the VTubers out there, hundreds if not thousands of VTubers, labeling them as various titles like woke, unclear, lean woke, lean chud, or in the case of my wife, a chud. Now, the only, I guess, evidence provided here is that she has a YouTube channel. There's no actual reason provided. It's just her YouTube channel. And as you can see, this is the very chuddy behavior over here. Yeah, I know. Very hateful conduct over here. I mean, what else can you say? But Kyle would then continue because that wasn't enough attention. So Kyle then...
Bro, how many tweets is this now? When are you gonna stop? How many times are we gonna teach you this lesson, old man? You're not winning by replying to every person.
And would quote himself with a screenshot of Powder's interaction saying, update, a second plane has hit the towers. Kyle versus the Chud final bosses, showing off his weird comments that he made to Powder. Like, first of all, you picked a fight with Powder, and she responded...
Literally threw rocks at her and tried to get her canceled, and then when it backfired and it didn't go your way, you shit your pants and ran.
now you're basically saying that everyone's coming at...
I know I'm labeled as a chud. I looked at it. I thought it was fucking stupid, but funny. I literally commented on it.
After you, like, what kind of victim mentality is this? Reminder that these are the people leading these campaigns to get people's sponsors pulled. They are completely and utterly unhinged.
Yep.
And when you apply any level, any degree of their own standards back at them, they're not only hypocrites, they're genuinely deranged. Like, have you just look at the behavior I have shown. This is a person who is showing some tendencies that like should raise eyebrows. Okay, but this is the person trying to morally
it wasn't on her. It was a different character.
Who's allowed to work with what company?
Did I say Harris's other loadout?
Well, guess what? I will continue to work with Uwu Market with pride. And again,
Fusion.
If you want to support this company and me, check out my campaign and check out my page. Visit
I don't
my
know that
merch.
I did.
I have
Hang
a whole
on, let me
page
fucking
with Uwu
load her
Market.
in.
Please go ahead and check them out. I feel like I don't promote my page enough with them.
No, I didn't
They've
save
been
the
an
other one.
absolute
Shit.
honor
Tech.
to work with.
Toxic Tech.
I can say that on behalf of me and
This
my
one.
wife, Straub. They have been an absolute pleasure to work with.
I've
and I
never
know
had
people
issues
who
with
have
them.
ordered from them, love the merch, and that will be just something I really appreciate. And they've always had our back. And thanks again to people like Kyle for giving the greatest promotion for this company completely without any nobody asked for this. They just did this on their own. So thanks, I guess. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'm streaming on YouTube on a regular basis. Started on March 1st. I'm streaming multiple times a week. Would love to see you there. So do all the things I just mentioned, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'll see you next time.
Thanks for the crash out, Kyle. Thanks for making us content. Thanks for promoting Uwu Market and Powder. Wow, that really didn't backfire on your dumb ass. I swear, these people are so dumb. They're so stupid. Yeah, I don't get it. Just the craziest virtue signal I've ever seen. Guys, if I say every single thing, someone will fuck me, please. Please. So cringe. Go check them out. Everyone who disagrees with me is a freaking Nazi! Fuck. Crazy ass hoes. Yeah! What did you think, chat? You think it backfired on him? I think so, huh? Yeah, crazy stuff.
Okay. I'm gonna pause V here. We're gonna pause V. Oh god, another cringe video. Cringe and performative acting and all this other bullshit. What the fuck is that? Director, actress. Oh no, it's happening again. No, come on. I mean, the movie looked bad anyway, so it's not surprising. Okay, I gotta figure out lunch situation. I'm going to break and reset the clock here. I'll be back whenever I sit down.